Today's episode is brought to you by the Nuance Dragon Ambient Experience, or DAX for short. To learn more about how DAX Copilot can help reduce burnout and restore the joy of practicing medicine, stick around after the episode or visit nuance.com/discover DAX. That's nuance.com/discover DAX. Knock, knock. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock, Knock. Hi with the Glaucomfleckens. Really emphasize the hi. I'm Dr.
Nice solid
Glaucomflecken.
H. I'm
Hello, lady.
Hello, I am Lady Glaucomflecken. We are Will and Kristen Flannery, and we are discombobulated.
It's Glauc Talk time. So this is like an evening edition.
It's an evening edition.
This is the latest we've ever recorded.
It's the end of a weekend, and we have spent the entire weekend working on
We're moving, folks.
moving, which is never fun.
We're moving. You know what I heard once? I heard that before anybody decides to get married, they should move across the country together.
Hey, we did that. High five.
That's right. And
way to go, buddy.
And if your relationship survives the move, then
then just go ahead.
Then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there are a few things that are harder.
I think I would add one thing to that, which is to
Raising a child.
Well, that's more of a long-term project.
Sure.
Might take a while to
What
figure
else?
that one out. Expose them to a task with a deadline that needs to be done, and then have them do it on very slow internet.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah. Because there is almost nothing worse than that. And so you will see everyone's worst behavior.
And they're trying to do something with slow internet.
Yes. Like really, really slow, right? Where it's like just
Have we done
loading
that?
inch by inch. No, I don't think we've had to do that. I'm just saying that would be another good test of character for someone if you're like trying to figure out if there's somebody that you can stand to be around for your whole life.
How about just being somewhere without internet, period?
That'd be another good one. Yeah, these days.
But that's more like vacation. It needs to be like...
No, everyone has internet on vacation now.
But I'm saying like sometimes you go...
You'd be like in the middle of
backpacking
a
or
forest
something. Yeah,
in a
but-
cabin with no internet and
But see, I think that's different.
sparse electricity.
But that's different because like you're like having an adventure with somebody. And so that
That is not an adventure to me. That is
Okay.
one of Dante's
I'm
levels
not-
of hell for me.
that to somebody, not to
Okay,
you.
to somebody, sure.
Clearly, this is not a Kristen Flannery type of scenario here.
No.
But I can see your point in like in your daily life,
Hmm.
just take away the ability to distract yourself online for a while.
Yeah.
And just it's just you two just living
Right.
life.
What are you going to talk about? What are you going to do?
You got to start a podcast or what? I mean,
That's right.
something.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, we are moving.
Yes, but we're not moving like to a different city. Like no major life changes are happening
Thank
other
goodness.
than we're switching houses. That's all.
Yeah, and it's this is it. No
Yeah.
more.
I agree.
It's
I'm hoping
so with all this medical
let's create a cemetery in the backyard and live there till we die and then get buried in it. We're never moving again.
That's not a bad idea. We have a little open area on our property.
Yeah.
We could just get we've got space. Let's do so. Medical education and training, it takes you all over the place.
Yes.
So this is how many moves
Oh,
now for us?
man.
So
I don't even know. And I moved a lot as a kid too, so
right. So
I don't know.
So we moved from Texas to New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
We had the smallest type of U-Haul trailer
That's right.
behind my Honda Element.
Yep.
We filled it up with whatever garbage we had.
That's right.
And then we moved from med school in New Hampshire.
Well, during med school we moved also
Oh,
to
that's
a
right.
different
Yeah, we moved to
apartment.
we moved. I think we had even fewer things for the second somehow. Anyway, very easy and like compared to now, it's just so much
Although
easier.
you still complained so much about it.
Well, who doesn't complain about moving?
Yeah,
Show me one person that's ever not complained during a move.
I know. It's pretty bad.
And that person, I think is not well. I mean, it takes some kind of psychosis to be able to do that.
That person had a lot of money and was able to hire everyone to
That's
do
it.
the whole thing for them.
Yes. All right. So Texas to New Hampshire, New Hampshire to Vermont,
Mhm.
Vermont to
Illinois.
Illinois,
Yeah.
Illinois to Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
Iowa to our first house in Portland.
Yes.
And then our first house to the second house.
Which is this current one.
We were still renting, but
Yep.
it's slightly bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one we just bought. So
Yes.
that's like 7 moves.
Yeah.
It's enough. It's
Just
enough.
since we've been together.
I am dying in this new house.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, well, let's not make that kind of a
Proclaim it?
declaration given
Okay.
your health
proclivity.
history.
My tendency to want to do that thing.
Right. So let's just say,
Okay.
we're not going to move again.
I'll live a long, full
There we
life
go. I like it better.
and then eventually die in that house.
Eventually, when you're an old man. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
I'll accept that.
But there's a lot of people moving at this time of year in the medical community. This is the time.
Yeah, the calendar, the medical calendar is about to turn over, and which is an exciting time. One thing I'm going to address now, because by the time this goes out there, it probably will be like early July.
Yeah, probably everyone will have moved and they're getting like settled in their new places.
Can we just like dispel here and now the myth that the hospital is more dangerous in July?
Go for it.
Yeah, because and this comes up every year, and there's always jokes to be had. I used to write for Gomer blog, and we certainly had our fair share of like jokes at the expense of all the new doctors starting July 1st. Oh, don't want to go to the hospital during July, and it's all well. It's been done. We're done with it. We're past that now, I think.
And there's probably a lot
Medical
of like
comedy has evolved.
There's like
beyond that.
little things that happen in July, like happen at anyone's new job.
Oh, sure. Oh, I remember like the first few orders that I ever put in, I'm pretty sure the pharmacist like called me immediately.
Right.
I was like, "You sure? This is what you want?
Right.
Did you mean this?
Did you mean to
Did you mean to do this instead?" I was like, "Oh yeah, of course. That's
Totally.
just a slip of the mouse." Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But what's the serious part about it, though, that I want to make sure everyone understands, those of you who are not in medicine who might be listening or watching, is that there have actually been studies that have looked at certain medical outcomes in July, August versus like the rest of the year. And in fact, some studies suggest that July and August are safer than other times of the year.
Right.
Because everybody is so diligent about the
So
supervision.
much supervision, yeah.
About making sure that the new crop of people that are coming in and practicing medicine know what they're doing and learn the ropes, and from all the people that have been doing it for a while. And so actually I was like that would have been a better time to have my cardiac arrest.
Yeah, sure.
Bad example?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll stay.
I don't think there's ever a good time.
No, it's never a good time. No, but the point is, I personally would feel great. I'd feel fine. I'd feel okay with having medical care in July.
Yes. The point is, you don't need to be afraid to go to the hospital at this time of year. And if you are a new med student, resident, fellow, what have you, brand new attending, you don't need to feel like you don't know what you're doing. I mean, nobody knows what they're doing on their first day of a new job, but you're going to be fine. Everyone's, got your back. They're watching out for anything that might fall through cracks. So everybody's fine. It's all fine.
It's all good. It's all good. You got lots of people to help out. Okay, let's so for Glauc Talk today.
Yeah.
We've been moving. We've been taking all our stuff and throwing things out and just going through. I said throw.
You do that.
You always make fun of me about that.
Yeah.
Now
I don't
I'm
know.
self-conscious about it. Now
I don't know
every
if
time I
that's a
say it,
Texas thing or just a you thing.
it might just be a lazy thing.
Yeah.
Throw. That feels harder.
I'm that way with the word drawer. I have to really, really concentrate and think about that first R. Drawer.
Throw.
Yeah.
So throwing things out. Well, that's one, actually, if there's one thing I do love about moving, it's the throwing things away.
Yeah, you love to throw things away.
Donating, throwing things away, just getting them
Getting it out of our house.
of my life and of my house. It's great.
Do you
I
think
love
if
it.
you lived alone, you would just have like a couch and one
I would-
coffee mug and one plate and
Oh.
one of every dish and a
Oh.
couch?
I would live a minimalist, very sad life if I was by
Yeah.
myself. Absolutely. It would all just be props. That's all
Yeah.
it would. Yes.
It'd be like a house of horrors.
Yeah, it would
Put up some mirrors and you could like rent out for a
Yeah.
haunted house every Halloween.
I would absolutely be embarrassed to have people over at my place.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely. Yes. But
Uh,
one of the things I just went through recently were all my props.
yeah.
And
We're moving the prop closet, so
I
we
have
have
a
to go through them
whole
all.
closet full of props. So what I thought could be fun is to talk about the characters a bit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I like it. Yeah, people like the characters. People really like relate to them and they resonate with people. So maybe
I think also the challenge for some people who are like new to my content is
Mhm.
understanding the backstory.
That's a good point. Yeah. Right.
I do get.
If you're new here, there is a lot that you've missed.
So I just did a video. I just put one out about the accidental I love you.
Mm.
When you're busy, you're talking to somebody on the phone, but
Mhm.
you're at work. You're like, all right, love you, bye.
Right.
Have you ever done that?
I can't say I have. The closest thing I've done to that is like when you're a kid and you're at school and you accidentally call your teacher mom.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of the same thing.
It is kind of the same thing. I do think there have been a couple times on call where I've kind of caught myself. I feel like I've been close to saying something a little bit too casual like that, and just you're tired. You're not thinking about
Right.
it. Thinking about other things. It's just second nature.
How many people do you say love you bye to
Love you,
on
bye.
a regular basis?
You
I know.
and our kids.
Right. But we're not on the phone that much. So it's interesting that just comes out.
Well, I would say it hasn't. We're talking like years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in general, as an ophthalmologist, I don't talk to a lot of people on the phone now.
That's
Like,
true.
I did a lot more in residency. You're always talking
Yeah.
to somebody, right?
Right.
So anyway, maybe should we just talk about some backstory? So
Yeah.
maybe I'll pull out my whiteboard that has.
You can't. We've moved it all.
That's true. Yeah, that has all the backstory, all the storylines, all
This is
intertwined.
all that's left in our house is this background right here.
That's right. It's all in my head. All right, so what should do you have any questions? What do you think I
Well,
should start with?
know, I'm going to take the role of the audience here. I've been along for the ride, so I know things.
Oh, should we take a break before we do that? Because we're
Well,
gonna
sure.
get into it. Probably a good idea,
Okay.
right? All right.
Yeah.
Short break. Right back. Hey, Christian, you know how it's kind of hard to make friends in your 30s?
Yeah, because you don't see anyone or go
Life
anywhere.
just gets complicated, right,
Mhm.
with kids and work.
Right.
Well, I brought some friends for you.
Oh, who?
Yeah, Demodex
Okay.
mites.
You shouldn't have.
They can just live with you, on
Just
you, all
all
over
over.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? Aren't they cute?
Well, these ones are, but I don't think the real ones are quite this
They'll
cute as the
listen-
stuffed ones.
They'll listen to you. They'll listen to your secrets.
Oh, and keep
Yeah.
them locked
so
away in their ribbed bodies.
So these little guys, they live on your eyelids, and they
Mhm.
can cause a disease called Demodex blepharitis.
Yeah, like itchy, crusty,
Red,
red, flaky.
Irritated eyelids.
Yeah.
That's right.
No one wants that.
No one wants it, but it's important that when people hear this, they don't get freaked out by this.
Hmm.
You got to get checked out.
True.
Right? Checked out, not freaked out. Because, come into the eye clinic. We'll talk to you about Demodex and
Yeah.
Demodex blepharitis and see what's going on. To find out more, go to eyelidcheck.com. Again, that's EYELID check.com to get more information about Kristen's new friends here, Demodex blepharitis. All right, we are back with Glauc Talk, lore talk.
Lore talk.
All right, so where do you want to start?
Well, I think, the question that I see the most that people ask about your characters is Jonathan real? Do you have a real Jonathan that he's based on?
I do. I do have a real Jonathan. My first Jonathan I ever worked with was a man named Luis.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Unbelievable. He was very quiet when I first met him. He's still really quiet
Mm-hmm.
because
He's not much of a talker.
He's not much of a talker, but he gets the job done. So he
Mm-hmm.
is the inspiration for the character. Eventually, the first couple of videos I made with Jonathan, he
Mhm.
said words.
Right. I
And people
remember
don't, a lot of people don't know that now because we're talking when I first made those videos, I had a much smaller following than I have now.
Right.
And so, in fact, those videos are buried in my TikTok somewhere.
Yeah.
I have not posted them to YouTube because I don't want to confuse people. I want to be consistent with the characters as they are now. There's actually a handful of videos. You want to go back and see some weird stuff
you
that I
do
posted
a deep dive.
way back in the day when
there was a unicorn puppy.
There was, I have a few like very random things. I was still trying to get a handle on what exactly TikTok is, like how I should use it, how it's best for like my sense of humor.
Right.
So at first I was just jumping on what everybody else was doing, right? Because that's kind of what you do. You see what other people are doing. You try to, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was like doing some lip syncing.
You did like an eyebrow dancing thing at one point.
Yeah, not singing. I was never singing. I was like lip syncing, like mouthing other people talking and jumping on trends and things. So and eventually the characters started and they evolved. They at first I made a couple with an emergency physician and he did not have any of that stuff, the costume, the bike helmet, that all came later. So but the Jonathan thing started from Luis, and I've had a few different scribes at this point. He's the gold standard. Gold standard. He knows that. And now he's
your first one is a special one.
Now he's a technician. And occasionally though, when we need a scribe, he'll jump in and scribe with me. It's like old times again.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I love it so much.
Have you ever given him like some Jonathan merch or something?
I gave him a Jonathan prayer candle.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if he used it.
I'm curious what his reaction is.
He smiled and nodded at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
didn't say anything. Yeah.
I think the first video was like the first day of ophthalmology rotation as a med student. And I had the scribe feed me a sandwich. But he said a few words in that one.
Yeah.
And then eventually I made a joke where he has mastered the art of being seen but not heard. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, why? Maybe he should just not talk.
Right.
And he slowly developed these magical abilities.
Right.
So like now, like he can run really fast. He can seem to be in two places at once, or at least move from place to place very quickly. He just shows up whenever you call him.
Right.
We don't know if he sleeps.
Or does he just get plugged in?
He might just get plugged in. There's one video where it alludes to the fact that maybe he sleeps in a closet or stays in a closet overnight. There have also been some plot twists where he and the other scribes might be stockpiling Visine for some kind of coup or some kind of revolution, a Jonathan revolution.
Perhaps Jonathan is not the hero we all believe him to be.
Or maybe he is. We don't know what he's fighting against.
Yeah, well, true.
Everybody assumes he's like
an
planning
uprising.
to uprise and rebel against the ophthalmologist, but maybe not, because the scribe is loyal. He's a loyal scribe.
True.
But the ophthalmologist has enemies. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
All right. So who knows? We don't know. They're planning something, the scribes. Okay.
I've heard a lot of people be very curious about Jonathan's backstory, like
where he comes from, his origin.
Exactly. Like that was how you developed the character of Jonathan. But like once people have met the character Jonathan and they're bought into like what he is now, within that world. Where does he come from? What is he? I'm
planning to reveal that at some point. I made jokes that he comes. You have to find a Jonathan in the wild and gain his trust, and then you have him for life. So
like a house elf.
Yes. And if you give him clothing,
Yeah.
then he's free. If you give him a paper chart, if you give him a paper chart, he is released from his duties so I don't know. I have to explore that because people are interested in that. I think I could have a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that Jonathan is not just he's not just tied to the ophthalmologist. In some videos, like he has worked with other types of physicians too, which is like that in medicine. Like
Right.
there are other specialties that use medical scribes. And like I know cardiology and emergency medicine and dermatology. And so there's a lot of, and it really is it speaks to how inefficient and messed up our medical system is.
Yeah.
When we need to hire an entire like role in order for a physician to be able to look at their patients.
Right.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that's
what it comes down to.
I don't know.
To make eye contact with your patients and have
You
an
need to hire a
actual
person.
conversation, you have to have someone else involved.
So the alternative is going to be these like, AI type
Yeah.
things, right? That try to
I
automate
hope that we are
scribing.
responsible with those and we actually allow them to create more time for the physicians to do that rather than create more time for physicians to see more patients. That's my hope.
Well, that depends on who's running the practice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In my practice, so we use scribes but we're also very focused on work-life balance.
Mhm.
And it's kind of our culture. Like we all work 4 days a week and we have holds in our schedule. Like there are certain things like that. And we have a certain number of days we have to work per year, but it affords us the ability to take lots of time off if we want to
Right.
do different things or whatever. If we were in a different situation, say private equity owned us or a big hospital corporation owned us, like
Mhm.
United, Optum,
Mhm.
if we were one of the Optum hospitals, if we were employed by them, like we wouldn't have that opportunity. So I think it's the culture that you build. And not everybody has a culture that values patient-physician rapport. So, yeah, I don't know. Here's a question I have about Jonathan.
Okay. You have a question about the character you created? And you're asking
it's
me?
more the reaction from people. And maybe the people that are listening, our audience can help. It's actually surprising the reaction that I've had from that character.
Mm.
Like there's a few, but he is easily one of the most popular characters.
Oh, yeah.
So, but what is it? Because in my mind, he was just kind of like a side character.
Supporting actor.
Yeah, exactly. He's the best supporting actor in the Glaucomflecken universe. So, but what is it? Like, why? What resonates with people about Jonathan?
Right. I think I think it's wish fulfillment, like vicarious wish fulfillment, right? Like that's what everyone wants is to have someone to do all these horrible boring parts of your job and free up your time to like enjoy your life
I see.
and talk to your patients.
So it's just people that want a Jonathan.
I think so. I
That's
think
what it
so.
is. Okay.
Also, I think it's like the mystery of what is Jonathan? Who is Jonathan?
Yeah.
Like what are his motives? Because he when you do Jonathan, there's no other way to say this really other than you look creepy. So there's this like dissonance between what Jonathan is and does, right?
Mhm.
He's this loyal scribe that does everything for you, all very positive things. And then there's what his face looks like, which is he's going to murder you in your sleep. So I think
Hence the
people
revolution.
are trying to like figure that out. Like, is he a good guy?
Yeah.
Is he a bad guy? Like, what's
He's
up
kind of
with
a weird
Jonathan?
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I ran into Jonathan on the street, I think I would like cross the street.
I do get a lot of
pretend to be on the phone talking to somebody and put my keys between my knuckles, all those things. Like he would raise my red flags.
That is when people come up to talk to me after either keynotes or shows, or just they come up and talk to me like at the airport or something.
Mhm.
That's one thing I get pretty frequently. It was people saying, "Oh, I used to be a Jonathan,"
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
I'm a Jonathan."
I loved the email that you got one time.
Oh yeah, that was great. It said, the email just said, "Dear Dr. Glaucomflecken, I used to be a medical scribe." No, it said, "I am a medical scribe. My name is Jonathan. You have changed my life."
The end.
That's it. That was all the email said. "I'm a scribe. My name is Jonathan. You have changed. But did not
No idea
specify
in what way,
how."
positive or negative.
I take it as a positive.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's there's a lot of medical scribes out there. People have had that role, and they certainly relate to it. So
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. It's a fun character. It's easier for me to write too, because he doesn't have to say
He
anything.
doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just make a face and
My this is what I was going to say earlier. My favorite Jonathan moment was because I'm seeing things behind the scenes and I see what it looks like when you film Jonathan and every other character. But my favorite one of the behind the scenes stuff was when the ophthalmologist was going on vacation and he was packing Jonathan in his bag. And you literally like laid down in an open duffel bag on the floor, and somehow like you're filming yourself with one hand, and with the other hand you're zipping your face up into the duffel bag,
yes.
as Jonathan is being packed up. And that was just so
So
ridiculous.
that video is the ophthalmologist goes on vacation, I think is what it's called. You can find it on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly hard thing to film.
Yeah. That one, I
It
mean,
took
I've
a
been with
long
you so
time.
long now that like I know when something is funny and I can like you'll show me things and I'll say, "Yeah, that's funny." But very rarely does something make me actually laugh out loud anymore because I just like know your style so much I can kind of
Yeah.
predict what's coming. That one caught me off guard and like really made me belly laugh to see you zipping your face up. It was so ridiculous.
I had this really cool duffel bag, and people were so confused by that shot
Yeah.
because they thought that I had destroyed a duffel bag to be able to get my head in there
Right.
and be able to zip it up. But it was this bag that opened on the maybe I shouldn't say this and leave the mystery to people, but it's been like 2 years since that
Yeah.
video. So it was a bag that zipped open on the ends, so you could
Yes.
have the top zipped and the
And the
ends were
ends
open,
both open, yeah.
and you could put stuff into it. And so I just put my head into it,
Right.
and it worked out really well, and it made the illusion that it really was, zipping myself up. That was a fun one.
Yeah, that was clever. That was really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Sometimes you're clever.
What other characters should we illuminate for people?
I'm a little partial to Bill.
Why?
First of all, you can't help but just feel real bad for Bill.
Mm-hmm. You know, Bill graduated.
I know. Yes,
So
recently
that's
he
the
graduated,
recent
and you
thing.
created a compilation video on TikTok of, Bill's journey,
Very
just as a little bonus for people who are in the know.
is a very, very millennial compilation using that Green Day song.
Yes.
That everybody had their.
That's all you have to say. Everyone knows what song you're talking about.
Yes, Bill. I needed when I made Bill, I needed a resident
Mm-hmm.
because that's such a big part of just hospital culture are the residents.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was when I was like just out of residency when I made that, or it'd been a couple
Maybe
years.
like 2 years or
Yeah, but I still felt like I knew.
Yeah.
I still knew what it felt like to be a resident and
Right.
to be.
Because you still feel like that your first couple years
That's
as an
true.
attending.
That's
You're
true.
still pretty new.
I still feel kind of like an imposter, right? Because like you're still learning the ropes, and now you're learning how to be an attending. But as a resident, just you're kind of always tired. You're on call all the time. You're unsure of yourself. You're building confidence, and you're making mistakes and people are yelling at you for things. And I was in a very supportive program, but still there are times when you screwed up and people are not happy with you, and that hurts. And you hurt, sometimes you hurt patients and you do your best and you still make mistakes. These things happen. And and so I wanted to have a character that kind of encompassed all of that.
Right.
And then Bill was born. And the reason it was Bill is because my name is William, Bill.
Right.
So it's kind of an autobiographical character.
Yeah,
in a lot of
I
ways.
think that's the thing that most people don't necessarily realize is that Bill is the closest character to you in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Like you've drawn
Am I still
from
like
your own experiences
Yeah.
the most for Bill's storylines.
Bill, I would say, is me from 2011 to 2017.
So that would be like
End of med school,
third year
through
med school.
Yeah, through residency.
Yeah.
That's I am Bill. Bill is me.
Yeah.
And but now I wasn't sure what to do with him because I made people feel so bad for Bill. Oh my God.
I really wanted Bill to have to go to fellowship.
Well, he's not. We may not be done with Bill.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, come on. Like I have plans for Bill. I have a little.
Yeah, that's true. You showed him graduating residency and walking out, but you did not show what is next for Bill.
Yes. And so we may not see him for a while, but that's why I wanted to have his replacement ready.
Mm-hmm.
Because so as he's walking out of the hospital, if you haven't seen this video where he graduates, there's this a swell of uplifting music, and then he walks out and he runs into somebody whose name is Phil, who looks like Bill, because all the characters look like me, because it is me. And then Phil is now walking into the hospital, and he makes eye contact with the neurologist, and it's like it begins.
He's the new Bill.
He's the new Bill. So
I saw a comment
couple
that really made me laugh, which was, "Is this the origin story of Dr. Phil?"
Oh God. I don't think I can make that kind of grow that kind of a mustache. But I think my favorite Bill video. Well, it was really there's very few videos that are like dedicated solely to Bill, but my favorite part with Bill in it was with the rheumatologist. Do you remember this part? So Bill consults the rheumatologist for an abnormal ANA, which is a lab test that is like an autoimmunity type of lab test. It's an autoantibody, and it's kind of confusing to a lot of people. And so it's very common. The joke is that people order it, but they don't know what to do with the result.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's kind of ringing.
Yeah, and so the rheumatologist calls Bill out on that, and then the rheumatologist says he'll help him anyway. And then the rheumatologist says, "Who's your daddy, Bill?"
Oh, yeah. So stupid.
And Bill says, "Rheumatology is my daddy." The rheumatologist says, "Yes, he is." I actually made some people got bad whenever I put that in there.
Why?
I don't know. There's some people that are like, that's inappropriate. That's not. We don't talk like that in the hospital.
Well, of course not. It's satire. You don't talk like any of these characters in the hospital.
It's just that's the response I get sometimes.
Yeah.
To some of these jokes.
Sure. What is a story, or is there a story from Bill's storyline? Did anything like come directly from your experience as a med student or resident?
Oh, good question.
Like, I know you've had videos with that, but specifically with Bill, since Bill is the closest to you, is there anything that is really just super autobiographical?
I got reamed out by a neurologist for actually, no, it wasn't me. I just remember I was like a neurology rounds as a med student, and hearing the neurologist just get generally upset about someone who said altered mental status without any descriptive language. So he's like, what does that mean? What is
Right.
altered mental status? Are they confused? Are they disoriented? Are they, is there dementia? It says all the, like, what is all,
Right.
like,
Which,
it's
sure, that's a fair
altered mental status
question.
is
Like,
a non-specific term,
right.
right? It's not really descriptive, but he was getting very worked up about it.
Yeah.
And so I made a video about that where Bill says, the patient has altered mental status, and he turns around and neurology's right there and starts making fun of him. So
Right.
that was something that I actually kind of was exposed to in med school. And then I did the Bill Goes to Therapy,
Mm,
which was one of my more serious ones. It
right.
was more about like mental health
Mm-hmm.
and feeling alone and isolated as a resident and as a med student, and it was just a very sometimes I do that. I
Yeah.
try to touch on some of the more sensitive
Right.
aspects of training, and it may not be the funniest episodes, but I do get a lot of really good feedback when I have
Yeah,
episodes like
those
that.
still resonate with people quite a bit because it's all the stuff that people are thinking, but no one feels allowed to say.
So I did that Bill Goes to Therapy, where I did that for resident mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did one for the med student goes to therapy, where he didn't match.
Yeah.
And so it was all about that, and
Right.
I got a lot of good feedback on that one too.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
that wasn't autobiographical, like
But
the
that
one where
wasn't
he
no,
doesn't
that
match.
wasn't, but
But
there's another
Bill going to
example.
therapy might have some
Yeah,
autobiographical
for
bits in
sure.
there.
I mean, it's God, I made, there's residency's hard.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
remember.
I mean, it's just, you're learning an entire field of medicine. You only have so much time to be able to do it,
Right.
and trying to navigate that, and then to
Yeah.
just do your best. But the stakes are high,
Yeah.
so
And the work is just intense. Like the hours are intense and
it
the amount you
is.
have to learn is intense. And
Now, some people might be hearing you say that, and I get reactions like this all the time. Is like, really, you're going to complain
yeah, back in my day,
about
we didn't have work hour
not
restrictions
even that,
and
but more like specific to ophthalmology. Like,
oh.
really, you're an ophthalmologist? You're going to complain about this?
Ugh.
So
Well,
tell the people. Tell the people.
look, I don't have any other point of reference. I can't speak to what the other specialties were like, but ophthalmology residency was way different than ophthalmology attending hood, right? Like
Hmm.
private practice ophthalmology. Um, it was a lot of call actually,
Yeah.
where you actually had to, go see patients and like overnight emergencies and open globes and all sorts of disgusting things. The things that you came home, I would always, you can't give like
You
details, like
eventually stopped
identifying
asking me.
details, but I would hear sometimes, your side of a phone conversation, and I
Mhm.
could, kind of get a sense of like, oh, this patient had something really horrible happen. And so then sometimes I would ask when you would come back, are they going to be okay or whatever? And I would hear some of the details. And it was just all the things that can happen to an eyeball in all the different ways they can happen.
So many things can happen to an
So
eyeball.
it's way more than I would have guessed. I'll just put it that way. And as you were at like a level 1 trauma center
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh man, we got so
Um,
many things. I mean, it's all so many farmers too at Iowa.
yeah, so lots of like
Lots of
freak
injuries,
accidents and
farming
yeah, car
accidents,
crashes where your face gets destroyed and yeah, just ugh, horrible
face
things.
destruction. Yes.
Yeah. So no, residency was a whole different beast than what it's been like since you've been
Yeah.
an
Now,
attending.
as a private practice ophthalmologist, make fun of me all day.
Yeah,
Like,
that's totally
please.
deserved.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well within reason
Right.
to give me all everything you got
But
as
all
far as
those
that.
ophthalmology residents out there do not deserve that kind of
Which is
treatment
why
because they are working very hard, as are their partners, by the way, covering all the other parts
that's
of
right,
life
exactly.
while they're in the hospital.
But that's why there are certain things I don't make fun of in any of my skits.
Hmm.
And I will never make fun of a residency program as being easy.
Right. I don't think any of them are easy. That's an oxymoron.
None of them are easy. Residency, no residency, even dermatology.
Yeah.
It's all hard.
Right.
It's all hard because you have such a limited amount of time, unless you're a neurosurgeon, a limited amount of time to learn an entire field. I mean, even it's probably for neurosurgery, it's probably a lot.
It's a dense field.
So it's
There's a lot to know there.
It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Like maybe separate the brain into like halves. I don't know. Just like do
well, it is separated, but it does.
I guess that's true.
It's got two hemispheres, but they are connected.
I still remember some of that.
Yeah. What are they connected by?
The corpus callosum.
There you go. All right.
So smart. Anyway, it's all hard. Residency is hard.
It is.
But it does end eventually, as Bill pointed
out. But it's
out.
also because I feel like we have to say this because it's the beginning of a medical year. There's a lot of people starting residency right now.
Mhm.
It is one of the hardest times of your life, and it is also a very positive and meaningful time of your life as well. It's both at the same time.
That's very well said. Well, that was Lore Talk, Glauc Talk.
Yeah, we should do some more characters if people like it. Let us know. We can talk about other,
you want to hear the backstory? I can catch you up on all the background knowledge you need to understand all these characters.
Or if you're just curious.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, let us know who you want to know about.
You can email us, knockknockhigh@human-content.com. Visit us on all our social media platforms. Hang out with us and the Human Content Podcast family on Instagram and TikTok at Human Content Pods. Thanks to all the listeners leaving feedback and reviews. If you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube, we can give you a shout out. So let us know. And then full video episodes are up every week on our YouTube channel, the Glaucomfleckens.
That's right. Just a reminder that it has moved.
Brand new channel. It's great. You can find all the podcast clips and everything. Knock Knock Eyes, Knock Knock Highs, interviews, all the things.
Glauc Talks.
We also have a Patreon. Lots of cool perks, bonus episodes, react to medical shows and movies. We're there, active in it. Early ad-free episode access, interactive Q&A live stream events. We got to film a couple of eye exams too.
Yeah.
That's
coming up. We're going to react to some medical shows. Stuff.
All over the place. Patreon.com/Glaucomflecken or go to Glaucomflecken.com. Speaking of new page, Patreon community perks, new member shout out. All right, we got some new members here. Ready? Ken S, Alyssa L, Jack K, Dina W, Nico D, Jonathan G, David H, and Tiana S. Welcome, all the new members. Always love seeing a new Jonathan.
Yes, that
G.
is always
That's
fun.
great. Shout out to all the Jonathans, by the way. A virtual head nod to you all. Patrick Lucia C, Sharon S, Omar Edward K, Stephen G, Jonathan F, Marion W, Mr. Grandetti, Caitlin C, Brianna L, KL, Keith G, JJ H, Derek N, Mary H, Susanna F, Ginny G.
Nope.
Oh, Ginny J.
You were doing so
I know.
well.
Muhammad
recently.
K, Aviga, Parker, Ryan, Muhammad L, David H, Jack K, Medical Meg, Bubbly Sal, and Pink Macho. Patreon roulette time. Random shout out to someone on the emergency medicine tier, Nicole G. Thank you for being a patron, and thank you all for listening. We are your hosts, Will and Krista Flannery, also known as the Glaucomfleckens. Executive producers are Will Flannery, Krista Flannery, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Editor, engineer Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omer Ben-Zvi. To learn about our Knock Knock Highs program disclaimer, ethics policy, submission verification, licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, go to Glaucomflecken.com or reach out to us at knockknockhigh@human-content.com with any questions, concerns, or fun medical puns. Knock Knock High is a human content production.
Knock, knock, goodbye.
Kristen, what would you say is the most important part of my job as an ophthalmologist?
Helping people see better.
That's a much better answer than getting home at 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that part too. That's good.
But the most important part of my job is not clinical documentation.
Right. That is the most worst part of your job.
I have to do it. It's important, but I like doing other things too, like restoring eyesight,
Yeah.
talking to my patients,
Right.
developing those relationships.
Looking at them in the eyes.
Yes. You know what helps me do that?
What?
The DAX Copilot from
That's
Nuance. Yeah, it's this ambient technology, AI powered. It helps me actually like maintain those relationships. I can actually develop a rapport with patients that you
Yeah.
can't do otherwise.
People tend to prefer it when you're looking at them when you talk instead of typing.
80% of patients say their physician is more focused with DAX Copilot. 85% say their physician is more personable and conversational.
Well, how about that? You could use a little help in that area.
I need a little boost from time to time. To learn more about the Nuance Dragon ambient experience or DAX Copilot, visit nuance.com/discover DAX. That's nuance.com/discover DAX. Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts, or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Hope you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.